Welcome, welcome, welcome to my mushroom growing journey so I can produce protein rich food for my family and reduce my grocery bill. All right, it is Tuesday, February 18th, and this is the growth we have from this mushroom. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it. So it did get bigger, but again, the caps are smaller than they should be, and basically it didn't grow as it should because of the lack of fresh air. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some more from this bucket since it's the fifth one that actually grows as it should. And what I'm going to do, as I talked about yesterday, is keep the stems intact, just take off the caps and cook them in the Instapot. And if I'm able to get their texture soft, to try them as a beef substitute in a recipe. So that's what I'm thinking for these that keep growing with the stems thick and the cap small. But hopefully this will be the last of it, and we will get to what they're actually supposed to look like. So first, from bucket 5, and wanted to show a close-up pic. So yeah, the texture is very tough. So comparing these to the one cluster that I had that had the large caps, the one that actually grew incorrectly, that was much softer, much tender, but these are growing in with a very, very tough stems. So yeah, so that's the major difference. Oh, so that just broke. So yeah, so the caps are always going to be tender, the stems very, very tough. All right, so now I am checking the buckets, and we have pinning here. I'm not sure. Okay, good. It looks good. We're gonna have to say a little prayer. God, please let this actually do what it's supposed to do, which means it's going to be a big cluster that's juicy and tender and soft. It's going to have big caps and small stems. All right, so we uncovered the pin. This is bucket, let me see, what bucket is this? This is bucket 4. Okay, so we're going to work hard so this comes out as it should. All right, so I've checked these two here. There was no pinning. The bottom doesn't have pinning, but we have pinning here. Second batch, 4th bucket. All right, so we have sprayed, covered up the one that is pinned. I cut a big hole in the plastic bag, so I don't want to hear no excuses. So I'm going to turn the humidifier on, and the fan is on, and we're going to see. Okay, this is going to be a very short video. It is Wednesday, February 19th, and I'm just documenting the growth of the pinning. I usually do this early in the morning, but I had a busy day at work, had to give a presentation. I have one child home for winter break, so yeah, it just did not happen today. So I don't think I have pinning anywhere else. If I do, I'll deal with it in the morning. And this is the growth that we have for the pinning. So I'm hoping that it's a good sign that it's not growing big, because that means it would be growing long, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it's retained its color. It's in cluster form. There's a big hole, the window's open, have a fan going. So again, I'm hoping I can get a large cluster with this particular mushroom. So we will see. Morning. is Thursday, February 20th, and I have made another change. So I'm concerned that this mushroom is not growing in a cluster. I can't remember. I have to look back to the one that actually grew in a cluster to see how it started. So I'm concerned, or I was concerned, that this isn't growing in a cluster. So I just went ahead and took off the plastic bags. So I think what I'm going to do is, once they start growing in a cluster, then I'll cover them in a plastic bag so they don't dry out. But before then, even though I had that big hole in it, it still is, to me, growing like the other ones, which are growing in this way if they're not getting enough fresh air. So I have a fan going. It's my air filter that has a fan. I think all air filters do. So I have that going. I have the window cracked open. It is cold. I'm in Metro Atlanta, but it's still cold because it's February. We're still in winter. So I don't want to have the air going full blast and then they die because they freeze. So I'm still working out the best conditions, but I did have a cluster grow before, so I know I can do it. And it grew without the plastic bag. I started doing the plastic bags because they were drying out. So I'm hoping this will help the situation. So again, I'm just going to leave them uncovered until I see them growing in cluster form, and then I'll cover them up in a bag. So this is the same 4th bucket from the second batch, S4. So I think we are day 3 in terms of our growth. And the good news is that we have pinning. So we see this mushroom has pushed out the tape. Let me go ahead and take that off. Boom. So we have another mushroom growing on this bucket. So again, I'll just have to spray them often. Keep the humidifier going. That's what I have here. Keep the fan going. And we'll see without the plastic bag over the buckets if they can grow in a cluster.